Hello, hello. How are you all? Just getting set up here, and we're going to jump into some tech talk as we get ready for all of the prep for Epic Universe, which I'm super excited for this coming week. I cannot wait to head to Orlando. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you so much to tuning in. First things first, again, I want to start off with tech stuff because I need to flip this whole setup around for when we get into packing and all that stuff for today. But in terms of vertical content at Epic Universe, I'm just using my handy dandy phone. I'm not doing anything too fancy for things like TikTok, shorts, reels, photos, not doing anything fancy in terms of my tech for all of that kind of stuff. And I edit on CapCut. So sorry. So it should be pretty easy and straightforward to kind of edit and go along with all the stuff. I like it. In the film industry, it's called run and gun. So essentially it's working with kind of like the least amount of equipment you need if possible, but still providing high quality content. So yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, to do a lot of TikToks, reels, and shorts for YouTube. I have a couple of surprise things coming up in terms of vertical content regarding Epic Universe. So that requires special outfits and themed content and scripted content around that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to doing that. But yeah, that is all of the vertical stuff I have planned to do. And I'll be doing that in each of the lands or portals, I should say, in Epic Universe. So Wizarding World of Harry Potter's Ministry of Magic, I'll be doing content. Isle of Berk, Celestial Park, which is kind of like the main hub. Super Nintendo World, of course, definitely doing some vertical content in there. And then Isle of Berk, which is, if you're not familiar, that's from How to Train Your Dragon. So each of the different portals, I have a little something different to film in terms of all the stuff I'm going to be posting on TikTok, Reels, and Shorts. And super excited for that because I think it's going to be really, really fun. And yeah, and the same thing again goes with pictures. I'm just using my phone. I have the iPhone 13 Pro. So I love the camera on this. I've had it for 2 or 3 years now. Haven't really felt the urge to upgrade my phone because again, I think my camera is perfectly fine. I like the fact that it shoots video in 4K. The quality is great. In fact, I find my phone's videos at night in particular to film a little bit better than my DJI, which I'm going to get to in a second. And I've played around with the settings on my DJI quite a bit, both on the camera itself and then in post when editing my YouTube videos. But I can't seem, for whatever reason, I can't seem to get it as good as when I'm filming on my phone. And on my phone, video settings are always perfectly fine. Like there's nothing ever, no setting I've had to change or finagle or play around with. So again, my handy dandy iPhone 13 Pro will be with me for all of the vertical content and photos I'll be taking in Epic Universe. So from there, we now transition into my beautiful, lovely baby, my camera. I have the DJI Osmo Action 3. So the most current model of this camera right now is the 5, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the 5 came out 2 years ago or very early last year, but I'm pretty sure it came out in mid or late 2023. But the 3 is a little bit older than that. Still, in my opinion, very good camera. It is very similar in terms of specs to a GoPro. I picked this, however, because I just like DJI in general. I've been to numerous tech shows and conventions here in LA. Where I've had the opportunity to play around with DJI tech and GoPro tech, both in terms of like action cameras like this, not these DSLRs, but movie cameras for filming. And I kind of like DJ a lot more, not even a little, a lot more than GoPro. The biggest deciding factor for me for getting this instead of a GoPro is the fact that this does not overheat as quickly as the GoPro does. In fact, it rarely overheats like at all. And filming here in LA, we get some really, really hot days. I had this all last spring, summer, fall, where it's gotten really, really, really hot, but it's never overheated, shut off, or gotten messed up or SD card issues or anything like that because of high temperatures. But I do know that tends to be a problem with GoPros and that it limits your shooting ability, whether that's in terms of time frame, like you can't shoot as long because it might overheat, or you can't shoot in specific locations because it might get too hot. I have not had that issue with this at all. And I'm able to shoot for hours on end. So there are days where perfect example would be 2 weekends ago for opening day of Disneyland 70th. I was in Disneyland for 15 hours, was able to film with this, no issues. And that's from the time I got there, food, the cavalcade during the day, all the way through the night. I recorded the Paint the Night Parade, the Tapestry of Happiness projection show against It's a Small World, and the Wondrous Journeys fireworks show, all on this bad boy. No issues. At no point did it get too hot or like feel hot or anything like that. And I have a pretty standard SD card. I think it's 125 gigabytes. And again, records in 4K. Everything was perfectly fine. And I didn't need to charge this at all during that 15-hour day. I started off with 100% battery. I think by the time I got to my hotel in the evening, which was like around midnight or 1 a.m., I think this was down to 40% battery and change, something like that. So it was low, but it never got to the point where I was worried while at Disneyland, like, oh my gosh, I need to go and charge this, or oh no, I'm going to run out of battery and, have issues. So highly recommend if you are in the market for a camera, I recommend this. Hey, we got Wendy in the chat. Wendy, how are you? I saw your new Crybaby. So adorable. For those of you present, if you want, I highly recommend heading over to Wendy Vision. She too was at Disneyland's 70th. And Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, you are a DJI Pocket user, if I'm correct. I feel like that's your go-to vlogging camera. But yeah, I'm in the DJI family, so I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. And this has been great so far. Now, to beef up my filming, however, for Epic Universe, because you got to come correct, I just got a couple of days ago the Movo wireless mic system. I'm super excited to try this. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I'm excited too. This is going to be so much fun. And I stalked your article on Moviefone and took notes on all the things you wrote about the different lamps, the different portals. So I'm super excited to dive in. As much as I'm really looking forward to filming as much so I can share with everyone my perspective, tips and tricks, food, things to do, things maybe not to do, things to avoid. I'm also trying my best to curate time that is just to enjoy, and that, camera down, phone away for a little bit so I can just take it all in and really enjoy the theme park. This is great. This is a unique experience. There has not been a brand new theme park opened in U.S. soil, I think, in 15 years. I think the Wizarding World of Harry Potter was the last one, which I believe was 2010 or 2011. So it's been a very long time that we've been alive to enjoy a brand new theme park opening up. So to be part of that is so very, very cool. And this is just the beginning, because we're getting Universal United Kingdom around 2030, 2031, so in 5-6 years. And then we're getting Disneyland Abu Dhabi in probably about a decade or so. So this is, again, the beginning of some really, really fun stuff in terms of theme parks and amusement and rides and foods and all kinds of great things to enjoy. MB Francois, welcome to the live stream. I know all the exclamation points because we are just so much great stuff is happening. So super excited. But again, I got the Movo wireless mic system. This is for just one mic and one transmitter. I'll be putting this to work this coming week at Epic Universe. So very, very excited to see how it goes. I have tried it out already with the camera. So far, sounds good. The quality seems great. I did watch some TikToks and read reviews and watched the Movo, like how to set up and testing it all out. And it seems to do really, really well so far. And I like the fact that not only can I use it for my camera, but I can also use it for my phone. So I'll be putting this to work. So hopefully you guys are getting the best sound quality while listening to a back one. It's all edited and beautiful. You're at the vet with Navi. Oh, I hope Navi is okay. Give Navi a big hug and kiss for me. Thank you so much for stopping by, Wendy. Bye. So yeah, if you haven't yet, head over to Wendy Vision, give her a follow, give her video some likes, some views, some comments, and send her so much love. Wendy is absolutely phenomenal. Not only is she part of the Movie Couple channel with her husband Dustin, which has amazing movie reviews, just kind of chats about different films and television shows that are out. They do live streams as well. Wendy also does gaming, so you can watch her stream her gameplays, and they attend, red carpets and all kinds of amazing things. And I've known her for years now. So definitely go send Wendy some love over on Wendy Vision and check out her channel with Dustin, The Movie Couple. So yeah. So we have the wireless mics that we are putting to the test this week. I'm kind of, I guess, a geek or nerd in that way. I love tech stuff, so I'm super excited to see how that all comes together. But there's also the part of me that's a little bit nervous, just in case something doesn't work. I think for a lot of stuff that I will be doing voiceover for, I will record the audio on my phone just in case, so I have a backup. Because the last thing I want is to film for a week and have no audio when I'm coming back to then edit all the videos for you guys. I will scream first and then cry, and we don't want that. So yeah, we have the wireless mic. The Movo it also came with this really cute pouch, and inside were a ton of little goodies and things that basically make the whole wireless mic process setup easy and good to go. So it came with a little baggie, and inside of it we have some dead cats, and those are, those little fluffy things you put on top of the wireless mic that kind of acts as a windscreen in case it's super windy, and then an actual windscreens as well. So yeah, cannot wait to use all of this fun stuff for filming next week. I need to sort all this out though, because in front of me here I have this lovely Ziploc bag filled with wires and cables and chargers that I'm going to sort through and get ready to pack. The next tech thing that I think is a must for anyone going to a warm weather climate, especially Florida, with what's right now 90+ degree weather and humidity, is a fan. So I've had this for a while. I will be putting this, I'm sure, to work. It's pretty basic. I think I got this at Walmart or Target a year ago, and I'm pretty sure it's relatively inexpensive, like under $10. So I highly recommend, if you're going to a theme park, you don't even need to be creating content, just to have this for your sanity and well-being. Get a little portable fan. You can get a variety of different styles. I literally just grabbed this one and go. I didn't spend much time looking at different fans. I just saw it was under $10. It's pink, which is my favorite color. And then that was that on that. So in terms of tech, again, that is pretty much it. I also have my lovely little Gorilla tripod. So with the posable legs, to make it easy for obviously holding. Now, I will say the DJI internal stabilizer is fantastic. It looks really, really good. There are a lot of videos I've put up on YouTube where I'm either in the studio tour tram in Universal Hollywood or doing something where it's bouncing or all over the place, and watching it back, you could almost not tell at all that there's so much movement going on. And that is in large part to this. I would say probably 90% of the reason why it looks like that is because of the camera, and the remaining 10% is because I have it on this. So I'm holding it relatively steady, but I'm not restricting myself in any kind of crazy way. I'm just letting the tech do the work it's supposed to do for me. And that is pretty much it. I do have, thanks to my lovely sister, Selena, a shotgun mic, this Rode mic here. I will not be traveling with this only because it's a little bit bulkier. I mean, the mic itself is not particularly bulky, but once you put it on top of the camera and the little hot shoe port on the top and get it going, it's just extra stuff. So I'm just going to work with the wireless mics to keep packing and accessibility as easy and simple as possible. So that is it in terms of tech for my trip. Super, super exciting. If you're a fellow tech person like me, I love this kind of stuff. More on the girly side, I have my nails ready that I will be doing to get ready for the trip. These were, I think I got them on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon, another under $10 find. And they're sparkly and pretty. And I felt like these went more with the Celestial Park theme. I like nails, especially if they have nail designs on them. So I'm going to pop these bad boys on. And because it is hot and humid and I will be in shorts pretty much the entire time, I grabbed some Gold Bond friction defense. I believe the layman's term for this is chub rub defense. So you just basically put this on any body part that's going to have high friction or constant contact, just to make life a little bit easier. This is an aloe-based product where you just rub wherever you need to keep things moving freely and easily. So on the girly end, that is pretty much it. And I'm, again, really, really excited to head into the park. So before I get into other stuff I plan on packing, I will dive into some of what I'll be shooting, like more specifics. So there are a lot of videos right now are covering opening day at Epic Universe, which was 2 weekends ago. And all the stuff I've seen, I even watched the Universal live stream, looked really, really cool. It looked like it was so much fun. Some people I recognize, Wendy, for example, she was there for opening day. My goal with this trip is, because a lot of that stuff has been covered, like, oh, first look at such and such a portal, or first look at this food or this item. My goal is to focus on things that haven't necessarily been covered yet and to provide more of a beginner's guide type of view into Epic Universe. So some of the videos I'll have coming out in the weeks after my trip will be focused predominantly on that. Like, essentially, this is your beginner's guide to Epic Universe, from parking to walking into the park to how to utilize the app to your benefit, how to mobile order, checking wait times for rides, all that kind of stuff. So things where if you've never been to Epic Universe before, it'll be a video where you can bookmark or save and go back to help you plan your trip. Because that hasn't really come out yet, because everything up until recently has been previews and technical rehearsals, or again, opening day. So a lot of stuff is still very much brand new. And a lot of the content out there right now is more from a perspective of, here's what you can find, which is great. And I will be shooting very similar content as well. But again, my goal is to look at it and provide information from a, how do I do this as a beginner? How do I do this as someone who's never been before? How do I do this as someone who is sitting down right now trying to book a hotel and plan out my day for me and my 4 kids? You know, I want it to be as informational and helpful as possible. So each of the portals will have a dedicated video with, again, kind of a beginner's POV on how to approach it, what rides you should prioritize, what rides maybe you should do later in the day versus first thing. Should you rope drop? Should you not? What restaurants should you mobile order versus, you know what, maybe just hang tight and wait in the standby line. Maybe skip this full service restaurant, but go to this cart over here. I'm going to do a video of that for each of the 5 portals. And then in terms of specific foods, I am going to cover some of the more popular ones. So the mac and cheese cones, which I feel like are just viral right now all over TikTok. I for sure want to try them. There are different kinds. They all look amazing. So I'm going to try one of those while there. I also want to try the butterbeer crepes, or the bière à beurre crepes. those look good, but I have seen conflicting reviews. I feel like the butterbeer crepes right now are like 50-50 in terms of people who like them and people who don't like them. In terms of the dislike crowd, I feel like the thing I'm hearing most consistently is that they're too sweet and that they don't actually have a butterbeer flavor or taste to them, and that they just taste like a plain crepe. So I want to try it for myself and see. I think that's one of the upsides to me going a week and a half after opening is the fact that they've, I'm sure, have seen reviews or getting feedback from guests and are going to be tweaking things in terms of how the park is run, in terms of food, beverage. So I'm hoping that I'm coming in after some of these changes have begun being adopted. So very excited to try the Bière au beurre or butterbeer crepes. I'm also going to be checking out Das Steakhouse. That was a recommendation by Matt Richardson to try some of their foods there, because I do want to try as many full service restaurants as possible, but I want to be conscientious and try to pick things I know will be relatively good, because I hate wasting food and I don't want to get to places or get foods that I don't really like and may not finish. So Das Steakhouse is one of the places I'll be making sure that I visit while there. And then in terms of rides, I for sure will be trying the Battle at the Ministry of Magic ride. Just I've heard so many great reviews. Oh, quick disclaimer. I have avoided all POV videos for the rides at Epic Universe. Universal has made it very, very clear they do not want people filming on the rides, whether it's a handheld camera, a GoPro, or Meta glasses. We really should not be filming on the rides. Obviously, for handheld cameras and GoPros and things like that, it's a pretty obvious safety concern with rides moving up and down, forwards and backwards, upside down and whatnot. If it falls and hurts someone, that's a huge liability. So that was pretty common sense. Now, when it comes to the Meta glasses, or maybe your GoPro is attached to you and people are asking, well, why? I'm not going to drop it. And the glasses, are secured to my face or whatever. It's actually a copyright issue. So there's such a thing as misrepresentation. So while you may not lie about your experience on Battle at the Ministry, your POV video, however, may be presented in a way to someone who's watching where they feel like, oh, maybe I'm not going to go on that ride because when I watched so-and-so's video, it looked boring or it didn't look fun or whatever the case is. So that misrepresentation is actually a legality under copyright. So that's another reason why Universal and most theme parks ask that you do not film on rides, because even if it's a no voiceover, no audio, no sound, just a straight up POV of the ride, you are influencing someone's decision whether or not they're even going to bother going to the ride, which could influence whether or not they even bother going to the park. And in Universal's mind, that means a loss of revenue if you're not going to the park because you saw someone's POV of Monsters Unchained and you think it's too scary and now you don't want to go to Epic Universe at all. So that's just something to keep in mind in terms of no filming on the rides. It's for a reason. But yes, I'll be going to the Battle at the Ministry ride. I have been stalking the app with all the ride wait times every single day this week. And it's been hard to get a general consensus because some days it has fluctuated very wildly. Like Wednesday of this week, all of the rides in all of Epic Universe had extraordinarily high wait times. Now, from my understanding, Tuesday was a rainy day. And on Tuesday, I saw all the rides had lower than normal wait times. But then I realized it had rained for a good portion of the day. So I think when people bought tickets for last week, which were only available in 3 and 4 day packs, if I'm not mistaken, people saved Tuesday. So it essentially did not go Tuesday and used one of their extra days on Wednesday instead. But when you have that group mindset of everyone doing that, that just made all the ride wait times skyrocket astronomically. So Battle at the Ministry was at 300 minutes. Bowser's Challenge, Minecart Madness was also like 200 and change. Stardust Racers was like an hour and a half, so 90 minutes. So rides that typically had lower wait times for the last week and a half were really, really high. And then the rides that are typically high already were just at the maximum wait time that they could post, which I think is 300 minutes for the most part. So it's been a little bit hard to gauge what I can expect this coming week. I think it's going to be another partially rainy week, like 40% for like 2 hours each day. So not raining all day, every day, but it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the wait times and whether people go or not, whether this week is a higher capacity than last week or not. I'm not sure in terms of tickets, what the crowds will look like in general. So very excited. Now, transitioning to crowds for the next, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, the current capacity is going to stay at what it is, which is relatively low. So what people experienced during previews, which were a lot of high wait times and lots of crowds, was, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit more than what the actual capacity is right now. Universal is very, very smart. Obviously, they were not going to open up a brand new theme park at maximum capacity of whatever it is, 50,000 people, because that's just going to create congestion and a mess everywhere. So for these first few weeks of it being open, they've intentionally kept it very, very low. And that gives them also an opportunity to gauge and see what works best in terms of crowd flows and posting those wait times and estimating wait times, food service, all that kind of stuff. So as much as I'm prepared for high wait times on rides like Battle at the Ministry and Monsters Unchained, I know it's not going to be as crazy as July. If, from what I understand, July is going to have another capacity bump. I think right now it's at 13,000 people, the maximum park capacity for Epic. And in July, it's going to get another bump. I'm sure it's going to be a couple of thousand more as the limit as we get into July. And then August to late summer, I believe, will be the third and potentially final bump, which will see it as close to the maximum capacity as possible. So I recommend, if you're in the Orlando area or nearby, or you can travel now, pretty much now through the end of June will probably be your best time to enjoy the lower wait times, the not too crazy crowds and flow of people in and out of Epic Universe. And my best gauge has been comparing what I've seen so far to the opening of Super Nintendo World here in Hollywood 2 years ago. So it opened in a very similar fashion, where the first couple months, even though capacity was limited on different days and you had to actually make reservations to enter it for the first couple weeks, capacity was always just kind of a lot. There were always a lot of people because it was brand new and obviously amazing and very cool. So there was no getting around that for the first 6 months, almost a year of Super Nintendo World being open. So that's just something to keep in mind also with Epic. I know a lot of people are intentionally waiting to go this fall. I would say still be prepared for heavy crowds this fall. Next year is probably when it's going to ease up a bit, where you have less people in general trying to enjoy the brand newness of it now going. Also less influencers going to film the content as early as possible. So it'll be less of a battle, pun intended, to kind of finagle your way through people and crowds and food lines and mobile orders and virtual queues, all that fun stuff. So yes, super excited for Battle at the Ministry. The next ride I intend on trying is Stardust Racers. That one is in Celestial Park, and that is the 2-track coaster. And from what I'm seeing, one coaster is more intense than the other. And if you haven't yet, that one, I recommend looking at people's POVs, not on the ride, but from the ground in Celestial Park. You can see it when the coasters like go across each other, almost intersect, but without intersecting. Some of the inversions when both coasters go at the same time. I did read someone say that they and someone they met online were on the two different tracks, and when one of the inversions went past each other, they were able to touch hands. Not sure how true that is, because I wouldn't think the coasters would be that close like that, but we will see. The two tracks are a green track and a yellow track. People have different preferences of which one they like, but I believe Universal team members state that the green track is a little bit more easy to ride and enjoy than the yellow track, which is a little bit more intense. In general, it's not a very intense coaster to begin with, from my understanding. I guess it's kind of like your intermediate level coaster. But if you want to not have as much thrill, I think the track to go on is the green one compared to the yellow. So I'll put that to the test this week and give my opinion, although opinions are always subjective. So that one I'm looking forward to in Celestial Park. And then I'm also very much looking forward to Monsters Unchained in Dark Universe, aka Darkmoor. That one, again, I have not watched any POVs of the ride, but I did follow the kind of behind the scenes programming that they released over the last year in terms of the animatronics. When I saw Frankenstein's Monsters animatronic last summer, I was blown away because it reminded me of the way the Disney animatronics look in Shanghai and in Japan. Those animatronics are so way beyond more advanced than ours here in the US. And so seeing Frankenstein's Monsters animatronic last summer, I said, oh, okay, so Universal said, we've been working on this for a minute. We want to get this looking as legit and amazing as possible. Because if you watch any behind the scenes footage of it, it looks like someone in a costume or someone in a suit. The movement is so fluid and amazing. And it actually it reminds me of motion capture or mocap. If you are familiar with things like Lord of the Rings, where Andy Serkis portrayed Gollum, he essentially performed mocap. So he was in a suit with the dots all over it, and cameras tracked his different movements. And then in post in production on the computer, they overlaid the look of Gollum onto him. That's what looking at Frankenstein's monster reminds me of. It's almost like in creating the robot kind of Frankenstein's monster, they had someone maybe do some mocap work and then fed that information into the animatronic to make it move so fluidly. Again, it looks incredible, and I'm super excited to experience it and then give my feedback from more of an actual experienced position on what I think of the attraction. So yeah, that one looks really, really cool. In Super Nintendo World, now we have Super Nintendo World here in Hollywood. So while I won't say I'm not looking forward to it in Epic Universe, in all honesty, it's kind of at the bottom of my list in terms of capturing as much content as possible, namely because I know there are portions of it we already have here in Hollywood. So my focus will mostly be on Minecart Madness because that ride looks amazing and really, really cool and unique and looks very reminiscent of playing the video game, which is awesome. And I want to try, I think it's called the DK Crush Float. That looks absolutely delicious. Cannot wait to try that. And to, again, just experience Donkey Kong Country, because that aspect of Super Nintendo World we do not have here in Hollywood. There's been no word here in LA whether or not they're going to bring that over here. There has been a lot of construction in our lower lot area near Super Nintendo World, where the rumor has been they are going to do an expansion, but there's been no official word, so it's not proof positive yet that we are going to get Donkey Kong Country here. So that being said, while Super Nintendo World as a whole is not my main priority in Epic Universe, Donkey Kong Country within it absolutely is. So you may not see much content from me come out from Super Nintendo World that's already related to Mario Kart and Bowser. I will predominantly be focusing on Donkey Kong Country. So yet again, super, super, super duper excited for that. And then Isle of Berk, which is from How to Train Your Dragon. I'm excited to explore mainly because I know very little about it. Everyone who has gone has very quickly said it is one of their favorite portals in all of Epic, which is amazing, especially for something that has an IP that maybe doesn't have the most dedicated fan base. How to Train Your Dragon came out many years ago, and they're doing the live action remake, which comes out later this June. But I'm very curious to see what it is and why so many people who were so sure when going to Epic Universe, Wizarding World of Harry Potter was going to be their favorite. And then to turn around and be like, nope, never mind, Isle of Berk takes the cake. I think that's really impressive for all the things that they've put in Isle of Berk to have people do an about face like that. I think that's really, really cool. So I don't have too much more to say about Isle of Berk because, again, I've purposefully not spoiled as much as possible. And I want to be surprised when I step in through that portal for the first time. So now, speaking of the portals in general, and kind of going back to the girly stuff, I did mention I have verticals coming out that are specific to the different portals. I don't want to spoil too many of them because I think you will enjoy the content I put out. But I will say I am not dressing up for every single portal, again, because it's just really, really hot in Orlando. And while I have some outfits that correlate with some, others like Super Nintendo World, for example, don't necessarily feel a need to. There are creators that have done a great job cosplaying and rebounding as the different Nintendo characters there already. I've seen Link from Legend of Zelda, which is Nintendo, so it does fit in the Nintendo universe. But I've seen people running around in there as Link, as Princess Zelda, which is amazing. If you guys are familiar with Real Mouse Vibes, Ashley went as Wario during the media previews, which is the most hysterical thing, and I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't yet. And there have been many others. Again, obviously, you have people dressed up like Princess Peach and Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Yoshi. I've seen a lot of Yoshis also, which is fun. But because a lot of that has been done, I'm going to let the people that have done that do that. And then I will focus on the other areas that I'd like to kind of dress up and bound as while there. So that again kind of goes back to the more frou-frou aspect of Epic Universe. And that pretty much covers my filming for this coming week. So again, I'm super excited. I will be posting on our socials. So on all socials, it is very simply at Enchanting Thrills. So whether you're on Instagram, Threads, or TikTok, you just need to follow at Enchanting Thrills, all one word, no periods, dashes, slashes, or anything. And you will see me posting some live content throughout the days while I'm there. So I will mostly in stories on Instagram. I'll post for the most part, real time things that I'm enjoying. So when I get the DK Crush float in Donkey Kong Country, I'll have that up on Instagram stories. And then my goal, for the sake of my sanity and being able to enjoy Epic, is to, at the end of each day, post more longer form content. So things like Reels and TikToks will either come at the end of the day or the beginning of the following day, so that the day itself I can focus more so on things like photos. Those I can put up really quickly. And again, Instagram stories, Threads too, that can go up really, really quickly. But the content that I really want to curate and make sure looks good for you guys, that will all go up, again, end of day or beginning of the following day. That being said, because that is East Coast time, I will be posting in accordance with the best practices for East Coast time. So that may be earlier than what I usually post here in LA. So things will go up probably at like 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 4 a.m. here on the West Coast. But again, make sure you're following along so that you can catch all of these updates and posts and content in real time. Now, the actual long form content, like the YouTube videos, the full length YouTube videos, those will start going up when I return. So in a week and a half, that's when I will start pushing out the long form content on YouTube. So again, to recap, you can look forward to seeing the Beginner's Guide to Epic Universe, which will be an all-encompassing, overhead, overarching review of a beginner's guide to Epic Universe, which will cover, again, like everything from the very beginning, like what you do when you park, through the different portals, and then leaving Epic Universe. And then the other videos that come after the beginner's guide will then be portal specific. So there will be an Isle of Berk video, a Celestial Park video, a Battle at the Ministry of Wizarding World video, Darkmoor / Dark Universe video, Super Nintendo World, Isle of Berk. Did I say them all? I think that's 5. So each one will have their own respective videos after that. And then probably at the very end of that, I may then compile all 5 of those into one, I guess, like mega Epic Universe video. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comments, because I'm more than happy to do that. And that'll probably make life really easy as well for someone who's looking to book their first trip to the park, to have just one video where you can watch them all back to back in consecutive order. And then to wrap up the Epic theming of all of my content, I will be swinging by Epic Helios Grand Hotel to check out and provide videos on the restaurant, the amenities, and all the fun stuff that you can enjoy without a hotel reservation. So the only thing I'm not sure yet is whether I will have that as a video in and of itself, or if I'll include that in one of the other videos. So I may include it in the beginner's guide, or I may wait until that compilation of all the different portals and then tack it on at the end. So I will see, in terms of the filming flow and editing flow, what will work best for the hotel. But it looks beautiful. It looks amazing. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I should try the other hotels, which is the Terra Luna and Stella Nova. I think I got those correct. There are tons of videos already out there for those. Highly recommend checking out YouTubers such as Super Enthused, who has in-depth reviews of all the hotels on her channel. Highly, highly recommend Super Enthused. Also, Ordinary Adventures. They too have in-depth, and I'm talking hour-plus long videos on each of the hotels, all the amenities, what the rooms are like. So if you want that in-depth review and experience, highly recommend checking out those channels. And those are just 2 off the top of my head, but there are many, many more that have those in-depth hotel reviews. So that, again, pretty much wraps up what my content plans will be for Epic Universe next week. As I'm posting on the different socials, please feel free to let me know if you have questions about anything. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Because if the wait times on the rides continue looking like what they're looking like, I will be on my phone. So I'm more than happy to answer any comments. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, or comment on Threads, or anything like that. Even on TikTok, please feel free to message me or leave a comment, and I will happily answer any questions or concerns you might have about the parks, the portals, the foods, the character interactions. That's another thing. I'm very interested in seeing how those go in terms of lines. I'm not sure exactly how all of them are set up. I do have an idea in terms of meeting Hiccup and Toothless in Isle of Berk. I have a rough idea of how that flows. But in terms of the other portals, I am not sure. I'm going to assume it's like the rest of Universal parks, where there are posted wait times and you just line up and wait. So I want to take a picture with Donkey Kong, so I'm going to be looking out for wait times for that. And yeah, kind of going from there. So yeah, again, that is pretty much it in terms of the content flow for Epic Universe next week. Again, super, super, super excited to dive in and just experience it. For sure, I'm really excited to just have fun, but more so, I cannot wait to share everything I learned with you guys, so that when you're planning your trips, whether you've had a chance to visit during previews yet or not, or you're ready and waiting to take your first trip, hopefully I can share information that makes it as fun and as seamless as possible. If you've been following for a while, you know on my channel, I'm more of a Universal girly than Disneyland, although I enjoy both parks tremendously. But my goal with my videos every week is to provide tips and tricks that just make your life as a theme park goer easier, or as simple as possible. So if it's something like, you know what, if you're visiting by yourself or you're with one other person, just go ahead and go on Single Rider. Why wait 120 minutes when you can wait 30? Especially if it's on a ride where you're not talking to someone, or you can't see the person you're with or people you're with to begin with. And if you guys are, on the Single Rider line, even if you do get separated, usually isn't by more than 2 or 3 cars or trains that go on each ride. So it's usually relatively quick waits for the next person to come off, and then you guys can talk about the wonderful ride you experienced. So tips and tricks like that, I want to be able to share from Epic Universe, and hopefully help anyone out who might need to know. So that being said, we are going to take a quick pause here. I'm going to start getting stuff together and then start a little bit of the packing process for my trip. Like all of this tech stuff I need to sort. So I'm just going to leave this running. I will peek at the comments to answer any questions that may come up. You're more than welcome to just hang out, leave this on if you want a little background noise. I'll kind of chat as I'm packing things. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. And again, please feel free to leave me comments. I will get to them as I'm packing and stuff. We're just going to take a quick, brief pause here, and we'll get right back into it. I'll be in and out. Oh, it's my sandwich. You see? Ah, you can see my sandwich from there, can you? Hi, Tim. Welcome to the live. We just did our. Oh wait, I think my headphones are in. I don't know if this sound will come. Testing, testing. Can you hear the sound? Tim, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. We just did our tech talk to go over all of my camera and fun equipment. We're filming Epic Universe. Where's Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse, I don't have. Wait, I don't have a Mickey Mouse. I only have Minnie. Sorry, Tim. I don't have Mickey Mouse, but I do have Minnie. So that'll have to do. Hey, hey, hey. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 little boy. Alrighty. I know, so sorry. But Tim, I have to compliment your little avatar. Is that a mean Mickey or a mad Mickey? That actually looks really funny. That looks great. Yeah, it's angry Mickey. Oh no, why is Mickey angry? No. Oh, put it away. Poor angry Mickey. So tragic. So terribly tragic. I know. Don't go in there though. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, hey, no, Snowball, no. You're on camera, buddy. You get caught. Yeah, he was almost eating your sandwich.
Oh no, that would have been terrible.
He was on camera. I caught him.
I love it. Are you trying to eat what doesn't belong to
He's
you?
still staring at it.
We're all witnesses. Thank you, Selena, because he's giving me puppy dog eyes like he didn't do anything at all.
I fall for it all the time.
No, little boy. Little boy, I might have to close the door with you up there so I can pack and eat. And boots. And boots. Right, little boy. Just for 10 minutes. And then we'll be done. 10 minutes. Thank you for joining the live stream, Selena. Fantastic. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Selena, I'm curious. Do you think the rolling clothes method actually saves packing space? Or is laying all your clothes flat better? You have 10 seconds.
Flat.
Greg says flat.
I've tried,
I'm rolling only because of the interwebs, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
No, I was gonna say I've tried both ways. I think if you roll right, it is good, but I don't know how to roll right. So
No, Selena says rolling. Huh.
wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong.
I'm gonna roll. Coming back, I will lay flat,
I like that.
and I will provide a full detailed report upon my return. Greg is entitled to his opinion, but rolling is best.
I appreciate that.
Greg appreciates. That is too funny. Marie, also affectionately goes by Ma. Ma, rolling your clothes or laying them flat in your suitcase. Now, Mama Francois is a world traveling connoisseur of, of many kinds. She has been many a place in her lifetime and has been on many an excursion. So I'm curious. I think Ma's a folder. I think she just folds though. I don't know if she rolls or lays flat, but it's been a while, so I don't know. Ma, when you went to Paris, did you roll your clothes, lay them flat, or did you just fold them into your Eiffel Tower suitcase? The people want to know desperately, immediately. But you did. Oh, I've been undecided. I've asked a few people. Now I know the Power Up Band from the Super Nintendo World here in LA does work in the new Super Nintendo World in Orlando. However, I don't know if it's necessary. Do I need to bring this with me? Do I bother doing the games and things there also? Or not? Do I just meh? Now, Wendy, I asked her this the other day. She said, better to have it, and then if I don't use it, I don't use it. Not that it takes up a lot of space or anything. Selena says, do it. Is Tim still with us? Is Tim still here in the live stream, in the chat? Tim knows all things Super Mario. I want to know, Tim, do you think I should bring my Power Up Band, who's Luigi, by the way? I picked Luigi. Do I bring this with me or do I leave it here? The one thing I do know for sure does not work in Orlando is the wands for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I really want to travel with mine. I have the Fleur de la Cour wand, but aside from it looking nice in pictures and videos, I won't be able to use it there. So the wand is not coming with me. So funny thing, Luigi. Now, why did Nikita pick the Luigi power-up band? Because I've always played Luigi. Initially, not by choice. Nikita has an older brother, and said older brother, whenever we would play Mario Kart or any of the Super Mario Brothers games growing up, he was always, by default, Mario. So if you grew up like me in the very early, literally early, beginning 90s, then for many of the early on games, there were but so many characters you could choose from until you progressed, and then you could pick other characters. And then in later iterations of the games, you had, a lot more variety to choose from. I had no choice but to be Luigi because my brother would always pick Mario. And he always got the games growing up. So when it was Christmas or his birthday or whatever, he got the Super Mario Brothers game or the Mario Kart game. And so if by the grace of the good Lord above, I was offered an opportunity, usually after my parents forcing him, to play one of the games, there's no way I could be Mario. I had to be Luigi. But over time, my affinity or affection, one of those two words, for being Luigi grew, and now I'm a Luigi girly. And Daisy. I like Luigi and Daisy. Tim says the Luigi band is swag. Bring it. Okay, I will bring it. I really don't think I'm going to play the games there because I played the games here in Universal Hollywood already all the time. But I will bring it because Tim and Wendy now have both said to bring it anyway. So Luigi Power-Up Band comes with, and I guess if I'm bringing it, I guess I'll play something so that I can earn more points towards my account. So thank you, Tim. It is settled. And I lay flat, and yes, bring with you. All right, Mama Francois says to bring it with me, so I'm bringing it with me. Now I can't not do it because my mom says I have to do it. But Mama Francois is a flat clothes layerer. Greg!
What happened?
Mama Francois is a flat clothes layerer.
Okay, see? Team flat. I like it.
So we got 2 for flat, Selena for roll, Tim, do you roll your clothes, lay them flat, or you just fold them in your suitcase? The people are waiting. So right now, I'm sorry, Selena, but right now, flat is winning. Oh, no, Tim. Oh, roll nation for sure. We are tied, ladies and gentlemen. 2 for flat, 2 for roll.
Snowball, break the tie.
Snowball,
and then we got to ask Kirby.
Snowball just wants food. If you could put food and food only in the suitcase, that's all he would do. Yes, actually, Greg, you had a great point. What does Kirby say? Does Kirby say, lay the clothes flat in the suitcase or roll them into the suitcase? 2 woofs for roll, 3 woofs for flat. I think. That's what I say. Oh, Selena's happy. We're not tied. Kirby says, well, nope, Selena, I know for a fact Kirby did not say roll. I need a unbiased party to ask Kirby what kind of clothing transportation method is best. Rolling or lay flatting. Well, while you guys ask Kirby, let me know. Shoot me a text or a DM. I'm curious to know what Kirby says about the transportation of clothing in one's suitcase. But thank you guys for hanging out with me here on my live. I need to do this more often because this was actually fun. I'm going to leave this up on the channel so that you can refer back to it, especially the beginning. The first, I think, 45 minutes of our lovely time together was all my tech talk and all my plans for Epic Universe. So rewind, scroll it back to the top so you can watch and see. You'll see my camera, the wireless mic I'm using, my tripod, and then I detail out all the things I'll be visiting in the park and all the content that will be coming from my park visit. But thank you so much, guys. I, again, had a ton of fun doing this live stream. Definitely plan on doing a whole lot more. W stream. Thank you, Tim. I agree. This was a winner right here. But have a great, happy, amazing, incredible rest of your Friday. And stay tuned for all the epic content coming next week. Bye!